She needs at last to come together and to raise her voice. There are ties that must be severed to rise above the noise. Seize the day, seize the day, seize the day. All your hopes and dreams will surely fade away if you don't seize the day, seize the day.
Well, that was the wonderful Kirsty Heggie and Seize the Day, and welcome back to what is our 13th episode, I think, of ayematters. But if you're superstitious, don't be, because we actually missed one when we couldn't be here. So technically, although it's number 13, it's not unlucky, it's actually the 12th. But we've joined tonight by Judith Reid and Wilma Bowie, who have organised the wonderful Chain of Freedom event, and we're going to have a good chat about that and everything that's happening. So welcome back from John and myself, and we'll just ask Judith and Wilma to introduce themselves. Judith, would you like to go first?
Hi, no bother. I'm Judith Reid. I'm from the Highlands. Well, actually, Wilma and myself are actually East Coasters, so we've sort of nicknamed ourselves the Healing Quines. But I'm living in Inverness now. I've been here for about 20 years. I started getting into the indie movement per se just after the referendum, and I haven't actually stopped. I think I've gained traction and I'm not stopping, if you understand. So we got into this project back in January, and I was like, it's okay, we'll do this. And then Wilma has already worked alongside us, and we've worked together in several events up here in the Highlands. We've done two, myself and Wilma have been involved in two indie marches and rallies up here in the Highlands. I've done 3 or 4. And yeah, so it's been a pretty, it's pretty much a eating, sleeping and talking Chain of Freedom Scotland since January. So come October the 15th, we're either going to be committed or we're going to be resting somewhere on a beach, hopefully.
Hi, so I'm Wilma Bowie. A lot of you've probably seen my name scrolled all over the social media and that, because I tend to do most of it. Like Judith, I'm an East Coaster, originally from Banff, but came up to Inverness, that's 8 years ago now, and we haven't looked back. I can't say anything about the 13th being unlucky, because it was very lucky, because the 13th is my birthday. And Judith. So there we go. Oh. We're both the 13th. We're both East Coasters, come the Highlands. And like Judith, I was quite oblivious to the Yes movement and everything like that up until just before 2014. And the more I looked into it, the more interested I became, the more, certainly once I came to Inverness, the more involved I became. And after meeting Judith, it has just escalated.
I have that effect on people, I'm afraid.
She does. So when the opportunity came to help Judith again, when she mentioned the Chain of Freedom, I said, yes, that's fine. I'll be your PA. Thinking, oh, it'll just be a wee bit of typing or just the odd thing on Facebook. No, it's literally for eating and sleeping. We've both got full-time jobs. I work full-time as an admin manager at Occupational Health Clinic, and my husband and I have also got a small shop in Inverness that I do the admin and the bookkeeping for. So with family, with grandchildren and everything like that, we're the rest of the admin team are the same. We're grassroots people that just truly believe in independence and are doing this in what little spare time we've got. And poor Judith, it's quite often into the early hours of the morning and that she's doing it as well to try and fit everything in.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's a mammoth task,
yeah.
But most days it's exhilarating, but
yes.
it's also extremely exhausting at the same point. So once we're getting the momentum up again just now, so we've had a few setbacks, and that's absolutely fine, because these sort of things happen with this sort of project. It's a huge project. So yeah, but we're getting there. We are absolutely getting there. I keep saying that to myself.
It's a case of yes, we'll pick one another up. We're really quite a small admin team. There's only 10 of us in total, and it's only really within the last 6 to 8 weeks that it increased to 10. Before that, there was only about 4 of us, and we pick one another up. We support one another. You know, if we have had a bad day or we've had a lot of maybe negative messages that we're reporting back to and things, we pick one another up, and then that fire and that passion gets in there again, and we says, no, whatever's put in our way, we're going to make a success of this. We're going to show everybody, you know, the grassroots people are passionate. We do want independence, and we're not just going to lie down and do what we're told or say, oh no, it's okay, we won't bother then.
Yeah, no, that's smashing. Well, I suspect most of our viewers, listeners, whatever, will have a good idea of what your event is. But would you just like to tell us maybe how you came up with the idea? Because it's a wee bit different than what's been done before, I think, for the indie movement. I'm struggling to think of a similar event at all in Scottish political history. I can think of other events elsewhere in the world, but not in our neck of the woods.
That's right. It first came up on a programme called Cree de Cree, and a lady called Siobhan Blackett. She's actually the founder of it. She actually founded it. What happened was one of mine and Wilma's mutual friends was on the show, and he'd messaged me and says, "I'm going on to this show. Will you come in and support me and just put a few comments at on the page and just sort of prop me up type thing?" And I was like, "Sorry, no bother." So it came on, the show went on, and they were speaking about different things and how people need to galvanise and we need to put politics in our back pocket. That's one of the big things. You know, let's look at the real cause for independence and what we really want. And it's a people's movement, you know. So it came on, and so therefore Siobhan had came on and said to me, I says, "Look, if you want a hand with anything, give me a shout. If you want to do anything, etc., etc." And then she messaged me later on that evening and says, "I've got this great idea. What about if we do this chain of freedom, like what they did in the Baltics in '89?" And I was like, I says, "That's a fantastic idea. It's something different to what the rallies and marches are." Because at that point, the rallies and marches were really slow in the uptake and the numbers, etc. In fact, the last march and rally that had a huge amount was in 2020, when Wilma and I organised, part of the team that organised the one up here in the Highlands. We had 14,000 people onto the streets in Inverness. So we said that. So that was absolutely fine. "Yes, I'll easily give you a hand," was my little words. "I'll easily give you a hand." Next thing I knew, there was like, "Right, this is what we're doing," and then it just went absolutely ballistic. It just went crazy. So before I knew it, I was the organizer, and there was all these different things: Facebook page set up, do all these. I had to do all the and behind works, contact all the relevant people, the Scottish Canals, sort out a link, sort out maps, etc. So yes, and then we were like, okay, then let's see where we're going with this. So the idea at first came along was that we were going to do it along the two canal paths of the Union Canal and the Forth and Clyde, and that was submitted into the Scottish Canals back in January. They had a wee bit of slow uptake in getting back to us, to be perfectly fair, but they did eventually. I'm not one to sort of let go. They didn't call me the Highland Terrier for nothing. So we carried on and did that. And then I'd said to Wilma one day, I was like, I'm doing this project. Do you fancy coming in and helping me about this and just trying to build this up? So at that point, we had about 4 or 5 in a Facebook, in the Facebook groups. And then we were like, right, okay then, so we need, this is what we need to get this done. So I did all the background works, all the applications, etc., run everything past everybody, because we're a group. It's a democracy within our group, and that's the great thing. Nobody steps over the top of anybody. We all have to say, we've all got input into any of the wording that goes out. There's myself, Wilma, and Phil are the core team. Phil does most of the groundworks, so he's gone along both canals and put on different things, did other research on it, found out the inlets and outlets and everything. So my background is health and safety, food hygiene, blah blah blah, caring for people, etc. So we looked at it, and for the amount of people that we looked at, first of all, it's because the first one was going to be a 66-mile route. So when we looked at that, we thought, okay, we're needing a bit calculation, about 77,000 people over that area, and then we had to think on how the room is, how the position that the marches and rallies are at the moment. So then we came up with the idea, what if we have a person and then a saltire in between them? That would lessen the amount of people that's on that section. So what we did is, with 66 miles, we'll drill that down to 11 sections, and then the 11 sections we drill that down to 6 links within that. So therefore we could have a amenable population on each area, because we had to consider how many people were going in and out of one part. It has got to be done in a safe manner. It's got to, health and safety, especially by a water canal. So we have got to be very mindful on how that is. So when we all got together and got our heads together and said, I think this is the best route to do it. We've had brilliant response from people that lives along the canals, and they've come back to us and handed in and sent on video footage, etc. But we have got a ground team that are actually on there continually all the time to make sure that everything's okay where we're at. So we eventually got word back from Scottish Canals, and as you'll have read in the past couple of weeks, we were actually denied using the Union Canal section, which is a bit of a blow considering we've been in negotiations with them for a very long time. However, when you sit back and you get over that, right, okay then, let's see where we're at. We're our solution people that's in the group, which is brilliant, because we're all like, okay, let's try and find it. I've got a great wee saying, half a loaf is better than no bread. And so therefore we've got to look for solutions, and we've got to look for ways to do it. So what we've done, they came back and said that the paths on that area were not suitable for the amount of people that would be going in it and coming out on it, and also for public use as well. Because some of the parts of the path, they're telling us is that some of it is 0.8 to 1.2 meters. So if you've got a static event, because that's what it is. It's not a march, it's not a parade, it's not a procession, it is a static event. So people are going to be going in these different inlets, outlets on certain areas. So so they came back and told us we can't do it. After we'd had a wee bit of a rant to ourselves and did the thing is, at the end of the day, people's well-being and their health and safety is paramount to us, and that's why we have accepted the fact. And whilst lots of people are saying, how dare they say that we can't, it's not a case that we can't, it's a case of it's not safe to do so.
Yes.
And if it's not safe to do so, we're not going to do it. And that is it in a nutshell, really. And it's a hard pill to swallow, because there's one thing that we have learnt, even with the people trying to get registered to do this event, because we need to have a certain amount of people in each link to make sure that whole link in that section is complete. So for each section with a saltire in between them, I reckon we need about 780 people. So for us to have 780 people, we need to get people registered. That's the most important thing. Get yourself registered. We then know the numbers of people going into that links. We then know how many people come the last week, the second last week, where we need to put people that's registering. So we need to get them. People coming along and saying, the amount of people that have come along and said, oh, I'm just going to rock up to the Falkirk Wheel. It's absolutely fine. We do that in rallies and marches. This is not like a rally and march where you can just join in where you want. This has got to be measured. It's got to be controlled. So not only for health and safety, it's so as there is enough people in that section to continue that chain link. It's really, really that simple. It's hard. Us Scots hate being told what we're about to do. And I absolutely get it. But you know what? It's like if you booked your seat to go and see Queen at some kind of venue, and you got you didn't have a seat, and you could just rock on up to an indoor sitting area. Where would it be? The health and safety just wouldn't allow it. Nobody would allow it. You know. So book your seats. And this is like booking your seat. It's not. I keep thinking this. Booking your place in history. You want your name to be on a list to say that you're doing a unique, fantastic, visual impact for Scotland's independence. You're going to be part. You're going to be a patriot. You're going to be, you're going to be part of the written history books. So please book your seats. That's the most important thing. But yeah, it's coming along well at the moment.
Yes.
So we're just going.
If I just interrupt you for a moment to tell people how they can book their seats, because you've sent me that QR code, which we've put on screen, and I've tested that it does work on the screen. So if anyone's watching, they can just use their phone and scan it in. And
yeah, certainly they can scan it in that way. I mean, some people will say, oh, but my QR code is actually on my phone, so I can't scan it. Well, most people know somebody else that's beside them a mobile phone. Scan it off your pal's mobile phone, or your husband's, or your wife's, or your next door neighbour's. But if you don't want to use a QR code, and I must admit I'm not always a fan of them either, you just go to www.chainoffreedom.scot, and everything is on there that you could possibly want. We are trying to make this as an informed and detailed and organised event as we possibly can. Mainly to, like Judith said, we need to make sure of the numbers, to make sure we have links that are, none of them are oversubscribed, or none of them are more empty than they need to be. But also for everybody's health and safety in that as well. Now, if you go to our our website, there's a bit that you can click on, join us. There's another bit you can click on to find out what buses are arranged, because there is a lot of the groups in that arranged buses that are going to go to their certain links, because we are sort of encouraging a drop off and collect, because not all the places have got adequate car parking for the numbers that we're looking at. So we are, preferring if people can be dropped off and picked up, and the buses are fantastic for that. There is another link that you can go on for further information. And there's another one that you can go on to show which hubs are actually assigned to which link. So although you may not be part of a group or part of a hub, say I stayed in Perth and I'm not part of any of the Perth groups, but I wouldn't mind actually joining the same section as the Perth people are in. Then you can just click onto the front page of the website, click where are the hubs, and you'll find what link the hubs that belong to that area are in. And then when you fill out your form, you just click the same link as them. We have actually already closed down some of the links as a choice for anybody within the public. Yep. The reason for doing that, we've closed them down when there's still about 20% to fill. But that is because we have groups subscribed to them, which hopefully will still be increasing their numbers. We have got to allow for those that no matter how much we ask will still rock up on the day. So we've got to allow for a certain contingency for that. And also, if we were to say on the day it's only going to be 85% full. Well, that's okay. We'll just have everybody with their saltires between. There might be a couple of extra saltires and things to bridge the gaps. But that is so much better than having a link that's oversubscribed, where people are having to jostle past one another. And, you know, we do that. People's safety and their comfort and their enjoyment of this is paramount to us all.
No, that's smashing. We've had our first question come in.
Okay.
Up on screen. Evelyn Hume has said, did you get any further with the barges that may have wanted to cover the Union Canal? So, and also, before you answer, a wee reminder to other folk to fire in some more questions just to keep the chat on, because I'm sure we can fill the hour just talking amongst ourselves here, but it'd be good to answer what they're actually wanting us to cover.
The answer to that question there is yes. I spoke to the lady in question, and we have come to some sort of possibility, and that will be revealed in the next couple of weeks. Okay.
So watch this space.
Pretty much so. We've got lots of groups coming in with great ideas, and everybody's ideas and voices are very much welcomed. What's not welcomed so much is can you extend it? Can you not take it to this place? Can you not take it to this area here? And the answer to all them is no, because the applications already have gone in. We're stuck with what we've got. Our public liability insurance is only insured for us for that specific area. Now, it's very hard when you're not behind the scenes knowing how these events come to be. It's a bit like the family that sits down to dinner. They didn't actually think who makes up the menu, who goes for the shopping, who takes it home and makes it. All of a sudden, there's a plate in front of you. You know what I mean? And it's delicious. You know, it's fabulous. But they don't think on how that has got to be on the table. So this is pretty much the same, you know. So all the paperwork and everything has got to be lodged at certain times. People have got. We're still going through numerous meetings with all the councils, all the police, and etc. And for those that's out there that's saying they never got in touch with us and they've no been speaking to that, don't talk nonsense. I'm a no nonsense kind of person. Don't talk nonsense. Okay, we've done all the relevant paperwork and we've done all the relevant contacting of people and in the right format. Okay, so, and whilst we are doing it in behind the scenes, it does not mean to say that we've got to come and lay all the ingredients on the table to show you how we make the dinner. Okay, that's pretty much it.
That's probably a very good cue for us just to show people the map that you sent through showing the route. So feel free to just talk over what we've got here and explain where it does run to.
Yes, so one of our lovely admin, Phil, he's spent a lot of time doing this interactive map for us. Now, this here that we sent you, that was just a picture. There's really nothing that you can do with that. But if you go to our website, again, www.chainoffreedom.scot, and keep scrolling down the first page, past the videos in that, there is the page with the interactive map. Now that map, you can enlarge it, you can click on, you can zoom right in as far as you want to enlarge any area that you're going to. And as you can see from there, I just popped onto this graphic just so as people had a rough idea where each of the sections were. But certainly if you go into the interactive map, it can be a lot more detailed. For those that want to actually look at it in a satellite view, you would, I'm afraid, have to go on to Google Earth and just compare the two maps so as you could see in real photographic satellite pictures where you are, and that would also be handy for your planning. We are getting so many emails. I mean, I'm on one email lot, Judith's getting another, and Phil's on another email address. And we're looking at 20, 30 emails a day that we're trying to answer. And we try as much as we can to give people the information that they want. But it would be nice if perhaps if you're able to, if you maybe just do a wee bit of research yourselves as well, if you can, because it's like if you were invited to a wedding, you wouldn't phone up the bride and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, but where can I park my car?" Or, where can I go to the toilet? You would find out for yourself. You would go on to Google, or you would ask a friend, or you would do something. So although the nearer we get to the time, the less time we are going to have to answer emails. And you can only but imagine working all day and trying to answer 30 emails a night, as well as the rest of the planning that's still being done behind the scenes, as well as the registers that are being kept, updating everybody. And we will be also updating the website nearer the time with all the health and safety information and guidelines and everything for the day. So there's so much to do. And yes, that map is handy, but if you are tech savvy at all, please, Google Earth is fantastic. And I do often think as well, there's sometimes nothing like an AA roadmap. I used to always have one underneath the front seat of my car, and you can always even revert to that if you wanted to.
Well, I hope we didn't drown out too much of what you said there with those bells going. That was the end of the night in the Parliament here. It's finished over an hour and a half, well, almost 2 hours earlier than we normally have done, which shows you that we're at the fag end of this sort of Parliament. It's on sort of borrowed time now. So which helps, I think, maybe emphasise why your event is so important. We've got to really mobilise the Scottish people and get that feeling of we've got to get out of this madhouse and make our own decisions.
Yes. Exactly, and it's just trying to enthuse everybody and get their passions and that going again. I mean, we all know we've all been frustrated, and some of us are maybe sitting thinking, "Oh, what's the point?" But let's face it, if they did that in the Baltics in 1989, and they were against the Soviet Union
without social media,
Russia, without social media, they lined hundreds of miles of roads. And all we're asking is everybody to give up a couple of hours. It's going to be from start to finish, less than a couple of hours. And just to stand there in solidarity with everybody else that are like-minded and show the world. The world are looking at this. We've got people from all different countries coming to support us. People
coming in from Australia. We've got a lady coming in from Norway. We've got, with a busload of people coming in. That,
wow.
They can do this. If there's people coming from all over the world, we've had such great support worldwide. And then we've got wee Jeannie that lives in a corner doing the bottom, or wee Jock that lives in the corner saying, "Well, I didn't care if I can come because there's no toilets close by." So please come on. I keep on saying, if not you, who? If not when? If not now, when? So therefore, if you don't do something now, you'll never do anything.
You're absolutely right. I tell this story quite regularly. So if you've heard it before, I apologise, but it's one that I'm going to keep telling until we break through and achieve victory. My partner is Indian, and I went over to meet her relatives in 2018. And one of the relatives I met was her great uncle, who's sadly dead now, but he was 99 years old in 2018 when I was across for the first time, and he'd been active in the Indian independence movement. And his job, he'd been working for the British civil service, and he leaked information from the British system to the Indian nationalists and kept them ahead of arrests. And then after independence, he joined the communists. He had been a congressperson before independence, and then he was a communist, and he was active in the first ever democratic communist election victory in Kerala in 1956. Amazing political history, and I had a wonderful 3-hour conversation with him about that whole period of the two events, independence and then the communist victory. And at the end, when I left, I said, "I hope you don't mind, but I've always wanted to ask someone involved in an independence struggle this question. Do you ever have any regrets about independence?" And the old boy just looked at me and he said, "Yes, I didn't do enough."
Yeah.
And there is a lesson to every single one of us. We're not asking folk to do, to give up their jobs or do, crazy. We're just asking them to do something, do anything. And it does make a difference. And, I'm an old-fashioned door knocker, and there'll be a lot of other old-fashioned door knockers out there that think we've got to talk to folk. And that is the most important thing we can do. but not everybody's capable of going out and talking to folk at random or chatting.
Exactly, yeah.
Like Sam, for the whole movement to come together. And I'm sure John will agree with me on this. The first time I saw a flash mob was the 2014 referendum. And I got told, we're doing a flash mob. And I thought, what the hell is that? And then explained it. I thought, a couple of hundreds just turn up with flags and sing a song. And I thought, is this really going to make it? I was very sceptical, right? But I did it. And by God, it didn't have to lift my spirits. And then when I went home and I put on my social media feed, all I saw was photos for that flash mob. And I thought, by God, thousands of folk are going to see these photos in this mood, in this atmosphere. And that's the impact it's got. And it's getting that message out to folk in a way, that, I can chap doors and I'll speak to 20 folk an hour. But we've got to speak to thousands of folk and tens of thousands of folk, and we can do that with this event,
Yeah.
Exactly. And
we've got Indie Live who'll be on the day. SPVR Lewis has been absolutely amazing. He's gone all around the country getting endorsements from everybody. He's going to be at the Hoff event in Glasgow on Saturday. Just a wee call out there for Hoff. And he'll be there on Saturday as well, hoping to catch some people and just to get some people's views on where they're sitting at for independence. There's been so much disgruntlement. There's been so much fractures, and you know what? We're our own worst enemies at times. But it's because of it's built up passion, it's built up pressure, it's built up we'd feel as if we're not getting anywhere. But with something that's going worldwide, because we didn't expect the BBC to rock on up. That's one that's one set of people I wouldn't mind rocking up wherever they want to, which would be fantastic. But please phone ahead or email us and let us know you're coming. We'll give you a good interview. But we've got people with drones as well, that are coming along. We're going to have people all along the lines. We've got Kevin Gibney, he's fantastic. We've been in talks and discussions with him, and he's going to be going live throughout the day. So yes, I mean, there's all these different things going on in the background, and we are on it. And I mean, yes, of course, people can come in and say, yes, I've got an idea. Why don't we think about this? Yes, we've still got room for more. I only sleep maybe about 3 or 4 hours, so I'm fine. I can do a couple more hours through the night. I'm okay.
But that's the thing. It's just trying to enthuse everybody. And like you were saying, not everybody wants to go and knock on doors. I mean, ask me a couple of years ago, and I would have never done anything like this either. But to actually just go with your friend, I wouldn't have. But to go with your friends and just stand by the canal. There's people bringing their musical instruments and that along. We're hoping that there'll be singing going along the lines, and just standing for 20 minutes, half an hour to allow for drone footage, the live video feeds, any interviews and that could be done. And then you can take a picnic, or you can just go home, or you can have a news with your pals. And it's just 2 hours, in fact, not even that, out of your day, just to show your support for independence. And I mean, the worst thing's going to be, like you were saying, you saw it all, your flash mob and that on social media and things, and people's photographs. Imagine getting up on the Sunday morning, the 15th, seeing everything everywhere on social media, in the newspapers, and hopefully on some of the news channels and that as well, probably not the BBC or ITV, but certainly maybe some of the other ones, and you sitting there thinking, why didn't I go?
Yeah,
I could have been there. If I'd only just gone, I could have been part of that. And I mean, I didn't like that person, put it that way.
At the start, it was very hard to get yes groups, different political groups of people, their different hubs, etc., to be involved. It was, well, I don't know what I'm doing that day. Well, if I was your granddaughter and I was getting married, I'd be sending you a save the date card. Get it in your diaries. Of course, you're going to know what you're doing that day. Get moving. There's no excuse for it, So we are now picking up a wee bit of momentum now. So, and that is brilliant. That's brilliant. And just in regards to the BBC, I will redact one part. I remember being at the Edinburgh rally in March, I think it was maybe 2017, 2018, and myself and my granddaughter was interviewed, and I think it was the only time that managed to slip onto the news. So all these people was messaging me saying, I just saw you and your Millie on the news. So let's see if they can come along. You're invited, come along, let's see us, let's have a conversation.
I mean, that's the thing today. I mean, we've mentioned the 1989 chain that went across the Baltics. You know, hopefully it's not going to be to the same magnitude, but it will still be a chain across Scotland. And who knows, 20, 30 years time, our kids and grandkids could be sitting speaking about this and, oh, look what my granny did, or look what my mum did, or my dad did, or my auntie, or whatever. And that's what we're wanting. You know, this is grassroots. As we've said, we're all just normal people. We've got normal jobs. We're doing this in our own time. We have got no party back-ins. What we have said to anybody, like we said to yourselves, anybody that comes along or supports the chain is doing so as an independent supporter. And only an independent supporter. Any party politics and that is going to be left at the door. You're there to show your support for Scotland regaining her independence. And everybody's been amazing. They've came on board with that. We have had branches of political parties saying, we're running a bus, but it's for anybody. It's for anybody that supports independence. And that is what this chain of freedom is all about. It's anybody that supports independence. It doesn't matter what party you are, who you believe in, or even if you're no party at all. If you support independence, you need to be there with us on that day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's something that can hopefully bring back our wider movement because it's not always pulled in the same direction. And this, you know, we're all want to go to the same place, so we've got to be pushing in the same direction. You know, it's no rocket science. You know,
I keep on saying as well, Martin, that you know, we're all wanting to get to the same destination, but we can't all go in one bus. We've all got different modes of transport to get there. And it's all about us all just moving in the same direction to get to it. I mean, we've got to take the personality politics out. I mean, I'm not a platformer whatsoever. And again, we've got to take the platitudes. We've got to take the platforms away. We've got to just galvanise the grassroots, you know, and get them out there and doing something positive. And I think this is a unique opportunity for everybody to get out there and just say that we'll always get this, we've got to be above 50%. Who says? Says who? Who says we're not above 50%? Have you done a survey? No, you haven't. Have you asked the people of Scotland? No, you haven't. So let's show them on the 14th of it.
You just popped off there a minute. You moved.
Moved to 50-60% instantaneously.
We've had a comment from one of our local councillors, Gary Bowes. He's just saying, obviously he's registered, but he's saying that your enthusiasm is infectious, and I've got to agree with him. It absolutely is. So, you know, let's hope that infectious.
Good, I hope so. That's what we're hoping for. You know, I mean, there's so many passionate Scots out there that just want our country back to be our own again and be normal like any other country, just ruling itself. And that's what we need to do, get everybody's passions going again. And, repeat the date. Yes, it's the 14th of October. I just noticed that come up, sorry. But yes, I mean...
okay.
It's for me personally, it's a no-brainer. I don't see why we shouldn't ever be independent and why any other country should rule another. But yes, it's to enthuse everybody's passions. But like we were saying, we're all, as the old saying goes, we're Ajok Thompson's bairns. And we're all the same. And I know that we've had endorsements from MPs or the likes of Alan Cumming and Alan Bissett and writers and everything. But that is because they draw the media. To us, everybody on that chain is an independent supporter. We're all passionate and we are all the same. Doesn't matter if you're a millionaire. Doesn't matter if you're like me, just working away in your office and things like that. We are all the same there on that day, supporting independence. And that's why, like we've said to yourselves and we've reiterated to everybody that is involved in a party, that you leave your party politics at the door. You come here with your friends, your colleagues, your family, your kids, your dog, you know, and just stand up in front of the world, wear your saltires, and just show that the movement is still there. We're not going away. We're not going to sit down and do what we're told or wait for somebody else to decide that it's the time for us to go independent. Because let's face it, a jailer never gives somebody the keys to the jail.
No.
No.
And we've also got to remember as well, everybody gets one vote. Just because you've got MSP, councillor, MSP after your name, you don't get any more votes.
No.
You only get one vote. You've got only one box to flick, you know. So let's make sure we're all, each and every one is important on this chain.
Yeah.
I'm not a hero worshipper, as many will know. So we need everybody out there. Yeah. Everybody is as important as each other.
And
I keep saying that there is no Messiah going to lead us to victory. It's each and every one of us that has to do it. And you've probably heard me quote, John will be fed up hearing me saying the same things over and over again. But I look at history, and one of the great quotes for Emiliano Zapata, the Mexican revolutionary, was that a strong people don't need strong leaders. And what we need is a strong people. And it probably fits in nicely with the chain idea.
Yes,
but we really need to show strength, you know.
Well, that's the thing. If nothing else as well, I mean, Judith and I and the rest of the admin, we can envisage how this is going to work. You can just picture that beautiful sea of saltires, everybody, the atmosphere that there is as well, the atmosphere that you have in a march, you're going to have on this day and that as well. It's always a good buzz when you've got a group of people and that all together. But it's also a wee reminder for those that do have MP or MSP or councillor in their title that you're representing us.
I step up.
This is what we want. We want people to work together. We want politics put to aside and independence. It's our goal. First and foremost, everything else can be sorted out after. It's independence first, and that's what we are promoting on the chain. It's independence first, and it's all in it together.
I'm slightly surprised that we've not had more questions, but we have got some nice comments appearing, and I think some of them are off a wee shout out. You don't need to be born in Scotland to have Scotland in your heart, and that is so very true.
That's so true. That is so true.
My community are so passionate Scots.
Exactly.
Maybe because they've seen more of the world, they realise that our situation isn't normal, and it needs to be different.
That's true.
And you know, a lovely comment. Eddie Woofy is saying he knows the date too well. He had to get his wife to move a weekend breakaway. Well, that shows a bit of commitment. We want commitment from everybody. So it's really encouraging.
I'm very excited about the one that's saying that Culloden's going to be there. I'm very excited about that one. Unfortunately, they're at the other end of the chain. But Sheldon's puppy, Culloden, is going to be making his appearance on the chain. And I would love to see him for puppy snuggles. But unfortunately, we're at the other end from there. But yeah, it'll be lovely to have him represented. And I do believe I saw today as well that Sheldon's name is going to be on one of the memorial flags. Yeah. You've maybe seen already, and we'll mention it for anybody that doesn't know. One of our admin is very kindly organising flags for people that unfortunately are unable to attend, but would like their name represented on the chain. And also we are doing immemorial flags. So anybody that unfortunately is no longer with us, but was an independent supporter, and you would like their name represented to be there on the day, we're going to have flags. And then due to GDPR, I can't actually put on the website all those that are attending, but what I can do is do a memorial page.
Yeah.
So once we have all of the
What a
names
great
of
thought.
those that will be in memory of our past independent supporters, they will be represented as flags on the chain, and also we'll do an immemorial page on the website as well.
I see Tricia's come in there and asked us, are there buses laid on from Edinburgh? The answer is, if you go in onto the page, the post that I put up earlier today has got all the links on it, and on there you will find all the links where all the buses are, Tricia. So please go in and have a wee look and see if you are. If you don't find the answer from there, if you email info@chainoffreedom.scot, one of the great admins that we've got in there who are working tirelessly, and I can just applaud them all publicly.
Oh, they're fantastic.
They will be able to get back to you. Okay, we're trying our very best to answer everybody's questions. Okay.
Can I'd just like to say that I think we're all really looking forward to this, and your sentiment about independence is bigger than any one person or any one group is so right. And going back to sayings that we love is, you know, if you want to change the world, you get busy in your own little corner, and you guys are just actually doing that. But I love your analogies earlier on, but I'm looking upon this as like a work of art. It's like a mobile installation of a work of art. And with the fact that you're using all the modern technology, although it might only be there for a couple of hours, it's going to be there for eternity in people's eyes. And I think that's so important to use that. But when you were talking earlier on about how you bring the food to the table, you need to come down here and watch some of these entitled MPs. They've never even brought a plate to a table in their life. They just think it should be done in front of them. They have no idea. And as far as arranging weddings, I don't think you need to point the way to maybe where the toilet they are for some of them, because they don't know where anything is and have no intentions of ever trying to find out, because that's your job. That's what you're supposed to do.
Oh, I'm afraid I wouldn't have the patience for working doing there.
Yes, you would, but it's...
if I had a pound for every time somebody said to me, Judith, go down there and sort them out, I'd be a very rich woman. But because I'd love to give it a bash. So if Martyn, if you've got an open invitation, I will certainly come down. Don't you worry about that. I'm not saying I will leave it in one piece, but I'll certainly come down.
I'm just glad that I'm running my clinic up in Inverness in the actually Westminster, because let's just say there would be a good few things changing.
No, that's smashing. Well, I've certainly really enjoyed the enthusiasm that's coming across tonight, and I know that the viewing numbers look quite respectable. We just hope they get the message going out there and get as many people as possible. So I will need to click the register link, because obviously the section I was going to go to is no longer on the route. So
now, did you not get an email from me?
I will have done, yes, but I haven't done anything.
I've got it. I know I'm section A, 6A.
All right, well, maybe I know instructions the way to go.
Unfortunately, Google thinks that because I'm putting out so many emails, I'm putting out spam, because I am the single body that is replying to everybody that's actually linked, and every hub and everything like that for that side of it. We have got another email address, the info email address. Phil responds to it. He's been absolutely amazing. But so we've said to people already, if you don't get an email, then the chances are it's been blocked by your email filters, it's been rejected as spam, or it could be in your inbox. So if you were to email info@chainoffreedom.scot, then we can search it out it's actually Phil that does that one, so that's fine. Just keep emailing him.
He will thank you later.
Oh, he will. I'm sure he will. There'll be no ice cream for me at Falkirk this time.
No, absolutely no. No ice cream.
I think you two could be quite costly.
As I keep saying it, it takes an awful lot of money to make me look this cheap.
I would like to say that although it's normally Judith and I that to do all the face-to-face stuff, there is a team of another 8 amazing admins behind this. Some of them have got such patience in answering the comments on our Facebook or Twitter and on the chats and that's going. And I think they've actually got a lot more patience than I would have with some of them. But yeah, hats off to all of the rest of the team.
Yeah. And for the people that actually on the page, they've sort of taken ownership.
Yeah, it's lovely
of their bit, and it's absolutely amazing to see that, you know, people that are not actually in the team are actually stepping up and answering questions and directing them to different places. It's been absolutely beautiful to watch. So that gives you much more enthusiasm to keep going, because other people are coming. You always bring people with you. Regardless of where you're going, you bring people with you, you know, in the hope that they pick up on some of the passion and the enthusiasm that we've got. As Wilma said earlier, we've got this, I've had this vision and it works perfectly in my head. And we know that when practical and theory, sometimes the twain shall never meet, but we're trying our damnedest to get it. You know, and everybody has, on the whole, I think we've only had maybe 0.1% negativity on it, you know, and that's absolutely fine, because you do expect that. I've been doing this for a very long time, so we expect some of it. However, again, you have got these grassroots people that come in and say, now don't be daft, don't be silly, this is what we've got and this is what we're doing, you know, and that's brilliant, because it saves us coming in and being too pointy finger and teacher like. And sometimes I can be like that.
Well, she can be a wee bit bossy. I think we both can. And
I'm not going to apologise for it. Guess what? I'm not. We want this to be a success, and there has got to be people out there that has got to be driven and know exactly the limits that we've got to. Bear in mind, my name, I'm the named organiser. So if anything falls out within the sort of remit of what we are in, I have got some kind of responsibility for that person. So whilst there might be, you know, whether it's 40,000, 60,000, 400, 4,000, whatever numbers it is, we have still got a responsibility for that person within our event. So we've got to be very mindful of that. So yes, I can be quite, no, we can't do that, and this is the reasons why. You know, and it's just that simple. We've got to kind of be compliant.
Well, the thing is as well, we don't want the independence movement and the yes movement and that to be shown in a bad light. You know, so when we are told that this isn't feasible, it's not practical for your event due to health and safety, of course we're going to adhere to it. I mean, there's a lot of people aren't happy at that. They think that we should go against that decision, but no, we're not. If we're responsible admin and responsible organizer, and if you're told no, sorry, you know, and these are the reasons for it, of course you're going to adhere to it. We're not going to put anybody's health at risk, or there be any kind of chances of any accidents. Or can you imagine how the admin team would live with themselves if anything happened to somebody, if we had gone against the choice of using the Union Canal? We just can't do that, and that's what a lot of people are forgetting. You know, it's Judith is the organizer that would go to jail. I would have to keep going and visiting her.
I know. And the thing is, whilst I don't relish going to jail, I have got a wall full of books gathering dust over these past 9 months, and I'm sure
bring your slice of
the
bread.
downtime would be fantastic. However, I do like fresh air. Okay.
Yes, and we don't want any bad publicity, you know, throughout this and that either. It's grassroots, human, you know, human chain of humans that we want to be
I'm
good.
going to throw another of my Indian anecdotes now, because just when you say we go to jail, that was one of the things that I learned from my visit, was the 1956 election in Kerala, which was the first state election. Every single victorious candidate, and I saw their election archive in their Assembly Museum, featured 2 numbers on their leaflets and posters. one number was the number of times they'd been arrested by the British, and the other number was how long they'd spent in a British prison. Every single one of them had been a freedom fighter.
Mm.
Wow.
And it really, it didn't matter which party they were from. The ones that were elected had all been freedom fighters. They were communists, the Muslim League, they were Congress, they were independents, but they'd all been freedom fighters.
Wow.
We have our democracy so lucky. We've got to turn out and vote and mobilise our folk. We don't have to, go behind bars to get there.
Yeah.
But it really makes you think,
I know. Yes.
that's what other folk have had to do. We're asking you to turn up for the odd rally, the odd march, join this food chain, and turn out on election day and support a pro-Indie candidate. I mean, we're not asking folk to, really put themselves out. We're asking them to just do simple, basic stuff.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. When you think what other people have had to do to gain their independence for the country, and originally it was just put a cross in a box for us, and now we're having to try and fight to get the opportunity to do the same again. But now we're just asking everybody to come with us on that day, stand side by side, and have that historical moment. And as you were saying, this is going to live on the virtual world. It'll be there forever, for eternity. Yeah. For people to look back and say, now this was the Scottish people, this is how passionate they were about their independence. I've just noticed a message, if it's okay, I'll just attend to it. Yeah. It's asking about the access on the canal and also about stewards. Yes, there will be stewards. Judith's got the number, I think, is it 2 per 100? I can't remember off the top of my head. But what we're going to do, Phil is going to be our head steward. We're going to have a dedicated email address to address all the stewards with and organise them. The same with our first aiders. It's all going to be on our website as well. All the instructions, what can't be done. Please, 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 if we're given instructions, it is for a good reason. Yeah. So if everybody could adhere to them as far as possible, and there will be health and safety instructions and procedures on the website and on social media and that as well, that we have to do for Police Scotland, for the canals and for all the councils along the route.
We're in line with all of them. We're in the process of getting them all gathered up. And as Wilma said, she'll be sending out emails to all the groups, etc., for all the stewards. We've already got lists coming in and saying, I'm happy to steward. I've stewarded previously at X, Y, and Z. Yeah. Phil is a very seasoned steward. Yeah, Wilma and I have done our time as well, to be fair.
Yes, we have that.
We have done our time
I was standing in front of Monkey Jacket.
Yes, absolutely. Several times. Oh my goodness, I know. That's hardly a claim to fame now. Come on.
I know.
But yes, we've all done our time. So again, it's like, if we want this to work, we've got to work together, and that's how you want it to work. We have to work together. And the thing, so far, we have managed that absolutely spectacularly. The groups, the people, the different questions that comes in, the people that's coming back and saying, I haven't heard about this. Well, my answer to that is why not? Because it's the people. It's every one of us. If you want a leaflet, ask us. We have got leaflets here that we can distribute. We've got different areas that Wilma's posting off to. So please get in touch with us. If you want leaflets to go around your area, do it. If you know about it, what's the sense in you keeping a leaflet? Pop it into your neighbour. Pop it into your neighbour who you might not see. You maybe work night shift, she might work day shift. They might know about it, and just say, I'm going to this next week. There's buses going. Here you go. Here's a leaflet. Have a wee look at it. It's word of mouth. We don't get the media, and sometimes the media that we do get doesn't actually put out. They edit the truth quite a lot. So
or they just pick up things from Facebook and then represent it as if you've spoken to them.
Yes, hint. Don't do that again. So anyway, yes. So we're well seasoned on how that works, but it's word of mouth. It's up to you, each and every one of us. If you can think, if we had a vote next week, and 3 people in your street are not aware of independence and how much it is, how much it means to everybody, how much it would mean to the country, what a vision we would have as an independent country. You have got to go and speak to people, listen to them, listen to their concerns. If they've got concerns, listening is the best thing. And then you need to say, well, why don't you look at this from this point? I'll go and get you information, go and source it out, go and read up and about it, and come back and ask me questions. Give them time to analyse everything themselves. We'll never change minds unless we listen. But we also won't change mind unless we actually put something forward to them and present it.
Absolutely. We've got a comment in there from Tricia Slater, which says it's a shame that the media have let us down. So I'm going to now make an unashamed plug for our show next Monday, which John and I have 2 seasoned Scottish journalists joining us. We've got Stuart Easton, who used to work with the BBC in broadcasting, and we've got Campbell Gunn, who had been a senior newspaper editor, and of course, both heavily involved in the nationalist movement. So they will be discussing the Scottish press and media and what can we do about it. So we've got
what you maybe could do for us. Sorry, I'm interrupting, but what you maybe could do for us is get them both signed up to the Chain of Freedom.
We'll send you down leaflets, Martin, okay, and you can hand them all out. Okay, you can hand them out. I can hand them out. I'll expect my inbox to be chock-a-block tomorrow morning.
There's an old saying, isn't there, about fail to prepare, prepare to fail. You guys are certainly not guilty of that.
Well, it won't be for the lack of trying, that's for sure. The hard work that the admin teams put in, it definitely won't be for the lack of hard work and trying.
No, I think you're doing an absolutely great job. The comment's been made before. Your enthusiasm is infectious, and that's what we've got to spread, right across the country. We've hit our hour. So if you've had a question and you haven't asked us, you're now too late.
It's flown in.
I'll teach you. Ask them earlier next time. But it's been brilliant having both Judith and Wilma on tonight. I wish you every success, and I'm sure it will be a great event. What is long range weather forecast saying? Is it bring your wellies and raincoats, or it's not going to be bikini weather? No, in October.
Well, don't know.
It's Scotland. Seasons in one day.
Do you know what? It doesn't matter. I keep saying today's rain is tomorrow's whiskey. So whatever way we look at it, we're going to gain something out of it. Okay, so turn up. A wee bit of rain, it can only go skin deep. That's all I can say.
Absolutely.
As my mum used to say, we're no sugar, we'll win a melt.
Nope. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will now end the live stream, but stay on the line. We'll have a wee quick chat at the end. So thank you very much. And as I say, everybody, do tune in again next Monday, which will be the last show we have until after the conference season.
Yes.
So over and out. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much for having us. Thank you.
Bye.